What is up guys, it's Naff here. So today I wanted to try a new series called Is It Worth the Grind, where I will go around and test different content and give my thoughts on whether I believe it's worthwhile grinding out the stats and requirements needed for that particular content. So today we'll be doing Abyssal Demons. Now the only requirement will be 85 Slayer, which for most people from a lower level, say level 1, would take at least a few weeks, if not longer than a month. So it's definitely something which isn't easily done if you're a lower level. So I will be going over, especially from an Iron Man's perspective, is this worth leveling up specifically for? Now I am going to be killing these Abyssal Demons off task, so I'm not using a Slayer helmet, and I will be getting Slayer experience from the Slayer contract. Now in regards to my setup, I am using my favourite gear set, my Guthans, a Dragon Rider amulet for the good stats, Ring of Wealth just for increased drops, and since they've reworked it, it now has decent stats, and a Vampirism aura. And on that note, I will be killing Abyssal Demons on the 3rd floor, or the 2nd floor rather. I won't be killing the Abyssal Demons on the top level as it's usually crowded. Now if you are a maxed or an EOC player and you have money for adrenaline potions and you have soul split, I highly advise you kill them up here. As you can see, it has a lot of potential due to the fact you can AoE them in a group and just sustain your health with soul split, and it results in really good combat experience and invention experience, and also pretty good money if you are picking up the loot. And I also have Herbicide, Cedarcide, a Gem Bag, and a Charming Imp, so I'm pretty interested in how many charms I can get and the sort of Slayer experience I can get per hour, and just the general loot. Okay, my aura is now just coming to an end, so we are done for this hour. So just having a look at the loot, I will admit I was a bit underwhelmed with how difficult it actually was. I've mainly killed these on my main account, which is maxed, and as most mainscapers have, I had the full tier 90 setup with invention and all that sort of thing, so it was rather easy. Now doing it on my Iron Man, just wearing a lot more basic gear, mainly just tier 70, I actually had a lot of difficulties. So just looking at the loot, there are a few things of note. So 431k in alcohols. Now I started with 26k, I forgot to bank it, but just taking that away, that still is 405k in alcohols. That's pretty good. It's not the best thing. Even in this Slayer tower there are better things, but still that's pretty good. And on top of that, 66 crimsons, it's very good. No blues, which I was a bit surprised about, but one thing of note as well, I didn't even complete my Slayer contract. I got very close, 197 out of 200, but it still only highlights I only killed 197 in an hour. And I wasn't AFKing or anything, I was consistent the whole time through. But it was just a case of they're rather slow to kill, especially with tier 70. I was missing a lot, and yeah, so for a person in tier 70, I actually don't think they are the best thing to camp. As I said, I was a bit surprised with how slow it was, but again, pretty good with the resources. 1000 pure essence, that's great. I'm slowly running out of pure essence doing my daily hood, so it's great to get that. And same with the logs, ore, and fire orbs. 2 dragon stones, and there was a few rubies and diamonds that I did get. There we go. So all in all, they're pretty good. Although for 85 Slayer, I'm not too sure if I would say it's as impressive as I'd like it to be, but regardless. So for that hour, I did get roughly 132k combat experience, split between attack, strength, and defense. 11k in Slayer experience, which is purely from the Slayer contract I did have, and that little bit of magic experience from Alkene, and that little bit of summon experience from gold charms being eaten. So they didn't drop any noted herbs. I was under the assumption this item would give prayer experience, but that wasn't the case, so keep that in mind. Attuned Ectoplasmata will not award prayer experience for killing Abyssal Demons. So I thought what we can now do is just to discuss a brief overview of Abyssal Demons. So I'll just go over the pros and cons, I suppose. So the pros of Abyssal Demons are the charm drops. They do drop a lot of crimson charms. Now they don't drop many blues at all, but it is made up by the high drop rate of crims. They drop a lot of noted items, which consist of mainly ores, magic logs, pure essence, and fire orbs, which for an Iron Man is great. Along with that, they drop a lot of uncut rubies and diamonds. Now, if you've got a gem bag, you can easily store these. So essentially it's like a noted item, which will just stack up in your gem bag. But if you don't have one, you won't be able to collect them. Now, they also drop dragon stones, which will not go in the gem bag, but they don't drop them to such a high rate, so you can pick them up and not have too many inventory issues. Killing Abyssal Demons in the Slayer Tower provides Slayer experience per kill, which means even if you're killing them off task and grinding them for a long time, you're still getting Slayer experience. For an hour, I did get 11k Slayer experience, so it's not amazing, although again, if you're looking to camp them for a long amount of time for charms or possibly some of their specific drops, you can get a fair bit of Slayer experience over time, which is pretty good. And being able to get Slayer contracts gives them an advantage, as it means you can still grind out Slayer slowly whilst camping these monsters. Another advantage of Abyssal Demons is they drop a lot of alkables. Now, if you're a Mainscape character and do have access to a spring cleaner, it can just turn the items upon dropping into noted ores and coal, although it's not guaranteed. Whilst if you're an Iron Man, you can simply just alch these items for a lot of gold. Now, in an hour, I did get roughly 580k experience between the alchables and handing in the contract for gold. Now, if you aren't interested in gold, you can also hand in the contract once completed for experience. Completing the 200 Abyssal Demon contract can award 28,500 experience in a combat skill of your choice, not including prayer or summoning. Now, the last pro of Abyssal Demons is that they do have unique drops. They have an Abyssal Whip, an Abyssal Wand, and an Abyssal Orb. Now, these are all tier 75. The whip is a one-hand weapon, and the wand is a one-hand weapon, and the orb is an off-hand shield. Now, these can be a good alternative compared to something like chaotic because they don't degrade. So the only disadvantage that I can mainly see is if you got a whip, you'll now have to find a merely offhand, which is similar, to actually get good results out of it. Whilst on the other hand, the wand and orb are great because if you get both, then it is tier 75. Whilst with the whip, unless you can find tier 70 or better shield, it's most likely not going to be worth using. Now, the Abyssal Demons weren't perfect. There were a few cons that I noticed during my time killing them, mainly being that they have very high defense. So what that meant was with my tier 70 weapon, the Guthix War Spear, I was splashing a lot and therefore it reduced the overall loot and experience I was getting. And also they do have a mechanic where they blink to a random location within, I believe it's 9 tiles from your location, so this just slowed down the overall process. So all those things tied together did result in slower kills. Now keep in mind, if you are looking to kill Abyssal Demons on the top level with aggression potions, it does change the situation completely. Although this is something only really done by Mainscape players, because it is very easy just to buy the aggression potions, the prayer potions, and the overloads required, or at least the ingredients to make the overloads, whilst it's not something commonly done by Iron Man. And this is an Iron Man themed video, so I'm not really going to go into detail about that method. So as an overall, specifically for an Iron Man, do I think Abyssal Demons are worth the grind? I'm honestly leaning towards no. Now, they are definitely great, and I probably will kill them more in the future, but I just believe due to the time investment to get 85 Slayer, there are a lot better things you could get. The first thing that comes to my mind is 80 Dungeoneering and getting a chaotic weapon. It's a higher tier weapon, and although it degrades, you're guaranteed to get one, whilst with Slayer you have to grind out 85 Slayer and then grind out Abyssal Demons, and you're not guaranteed to actually get what you want. And as previously discussed, even if you were to get the whip for example, they don't provide a shield or an offhand to use it with. And then looking at the wand and the orb, although paired together they're great, the chaotic staff does still beat them, as long as you can afford to keep repairing it. Now by no means do I think it's not worth leveling Slayer. There are a bunch of great monsters to kill when leveling Slayer, and that are unlocked through Slayer that give great gold, resources, and those sort of things, but I personally don't believe the time invested to get 85 Slayer specifically is rewarding if you are only going to kill Abyssal Demons. But anyway, that's all for this video. Let me know what you think of this series. I do have a lot of ideas for it. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.